Hello and welcome to the Energy Connect studio at the 9th OPEC International Seminar in Vienna. I'm delighted to have sitting in the studio next to me today, Majid Jafar, the CEO of Crescent Petroleum. Majid, thank you so much for joining us at the Energy Connect studio. Thank you for your time.
Good to be with you.
To start off, could you talk to us about the journey of Crescent Petroleum and its contribution to the energy sector in the Gulf and beyond?
Sure. So we started more than 50 years ago in Sharjah in the UAE, which is still our headquarters. We started as an oil producer offshore, only in Sharjah, and we've expanded now. We are active across the region, in Iraq in a major way, in Egypt through our affiliate Dana Gas, but proud of our roots in Sharjah in the UAE, which is still our headquarters. We're fully private, so we're the oldest and largest private sector oil and gas company in the Middle East region. Upstream, mainly, midstream, I would say, in gas. So we do gas processing, transportation, marketing, but not oil refining. So the Middle East, of course, has half the world's oil and gas reserves, and still a lot of it underexplored, underdeveloped, still only producing a third of the world's oil and a sixth of the world's gas. So you can see proportionally there's still a long way to go. Plus it's the lowest cost and the lowest carbon in many cases. There's turbulence, but we're there to stay, there for the long term, and we're optimistic about the future.
That's an excellent point that you made about also the volatility and the turbulence. And preserving that stability is very, very crucial for energy security. How are you balancing that journey to balance energy security and the pathway to a low-carbon future?
Yeah, so that balance has been a key topic raised here today. There's a sense that somehow there was imbalance in recent years, particularly Western institutions or financial markets pursuing sustainability and forgetting about the need for energy security and affordability. Now, those needs, the so-called energy trilemma, or it was said it shouldn't be called a trilemma because you're not choosing between them. It should be called the three pillars for energy, for the energy system. And getting that balance right is absolutely key. And when you focus too much on one at the expense of the others, you kind of fall down. And that's kind of what's happened. We've seen in recent years energy price spikes, energy supply shocks, shortages, even some blackouts. And because of underinvestment, especially in natural gas, we've seen a rise in the price of natural gas, which predated the Ukraine war, by the way. It might have been made worse by the Ukraine war, but it started before the Ukraine war. And as a result, many developing countries who have wrestled with the issues of affordability and access always have been burning more coal and wood and bio-waste, which are the cheapest, but also the worst in terms of health and the global emissions. I mean, the West has generally clean air and cares about climate change, but if you're in Mumbai or if you're in Beijing, you care about your local air quality as well. And if you're in Africa and you don't have clean cooking solutions, which 2 billion people still don't have, and you're burning wood and dung, then the World Health Organization says that's killed more people in the last few years than COVID, even during the pandemic. Millions lose their lives to this. So energy poverty is still a big issue. We have 800 million people without electricity, 2 billion people without a clean cooking solution. And this energy trap that we faced is energy poverty. And that's been rising since COVID. So the need to get that balance right, the key messages we're hearing here is it's an and approach. Demand for all forms of energy is growing. So the old ideological approach, I will only fund solar and wind and I won't do, traditional forms of energy, and this has clearly failed. And it was unfortunate that it took an energy crisis in Europe for that to be recognized few winters ago. And then, of course, all countries in Europe We're subsidizing energy. In the UK, half the electricity bill was paid by the government. They call it support. They didn't want to use the word subsidy. It's called subsidy. I don't know why in developing countries it's called a subsidy and it's not allowed. But if you're in a rich country, then it's called support and it's okay. I mean, that kind of dual system doesn't work. There needs to be absolute focus on the developing world's needs. This is where the growth in economy is coming. This is where the growth in energy demand is coming. And if those needs are not met in an equitable manner, we will fail in the overall energy transition.
That's brilliantly put. And going back to your point about the chronic underinvestment in the, especially the hydrocarbon sector, it's a recurring theme. Even the Secretary General here in this issue is constantly talking about it. But it needs trillions to get there, to recoup for that underinvestment. How can companies and countries collaborate to get there?
So we are now become more than 80% natural gas producing. There is underinvestment across all forms, but oil generally, you have national oil companies and governments, and it's more fungible, tradable, storable. Natural gas, longer term, capital intensive, more dependent on the private sector. The International Energy Forum, which brings together OPEC and the IEA, estimates that we need $4.3 trillion before the end of the decade in the natural gas system of investment. So that's huge. And we've also seen the demand not only rising in developing countries, which was already happening, but because of AI and digitization, suddenly demand that had been falling in Western countries, OECD, richer nations, is going up again. And I've seen reports that we need to add the equivalent power demand of Japan in the next 5 years, just for the data centers. So that's huge. And what we haven't yet seen is the Western financial markets and the multilaterals changing their position, adapting their position, recognizing what the UAE declaration in COP28 made clear, that natural gas has a fundamental role to play as a transition fuel. And without sufficient investments there, there'll be more burning of coal and higher emissions, and we'll be failing on all the three pillars as we described earlier. So I hope to see that. We're starting to see some flexibility or adjustment, but it's not enough. And that came out very strongly here yesterday as well. I hope we'll see more and it'll be sustained. The US government has actually been playing a key role. It's not just America. It may be America first, but it's not only America only. They've been very active globally, really. And we've had US government support for our gas expansion projects in Iraq. That kind of all of the above approach to energy that we've heard here, that we've heard from the US Energy Secretary, is welcome and very much needed.
And finally, we are here at the OPEC International Seminar in Vienna, and you are a key part of the proceedings. What are your thoughts? What are you hearing?
So I think a general optimism. First of all, I think what's clear is it's impressive how resilient OPEC Plus has been. Nobody thought it would last more than a few months. It's been 10 years now, and it has achieved really its goal, which is energy price stability. We're in this $60 to $80 band, even with the recent events in the Middle East. Went up $5 for a few days, went back down. I think we'll be in this lower end of that range more this decade, maybe higher end next decade. Demand is actually more resilient than people had anticipated or some had predicted. I've lost count of the number of times I've heard predictions of peak demand and it's been passed. Nobody's talking about that anymore. There's a recognition that the demand is growing. I think in the short term, there's a sense that the market is, well balanced and maybe even a bit tight, some people think, but seems to be good cooperation within OPEC Plus. Over the longer term, the question of concern is, where's the investment going to come from, and where is it going to be applied, and where is the growth going to be achieved?
Those are excellent questions, and hopefully we will get some answers in the decade ahead. Majid, thank you so much for your time.
Good to be with you.
Great to have you in the Energy Connect studio. Thank you
so much.
Thank you. Thanks for watching, and you can get more studio interviews like this and comprehensive coverage of the energy industry at energyconnects.com. Don't forget to follow us on social media, and I will be back with more studio interviews from the OPEC International Seminar in Vienna. Until then, goodbye.